I'm 28 years old and I'm realizing that the world is not what it used to be 5, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It's changed considerably, but not necessarily for the better. So I was having a conversation with one of my old friends. I've known him for nearly 7 or 8 years now. And he was the guy who helped me get into physiotherapy. He was already a physio when I was applying for physio school, when I had just applied and got into Southampton Uni. And we were having lunch together, and he obviously, after leaving the NHS, had a pretty rough time hustling, trying to sort his business out. And he worked day and nights and weekends to get his business, which is now a successful physiotherapy company. And he's the physio for Strictly Come Dancing, and that is quite a big deal because Strictly Come Dancing is quite popular. He also runs a successful clinic in the heart of London where he treats pretty high profile people, specifically dancers, performers, musical theatre artists, actors, actresses, etc. etc. On his way up, he definitely noticed that there were people who didn't really give much of a damn about him when he was just starting out. They ignored him, they didn't really help him out, they took absolutely no interest. Whilst reflecting on it, both he and I understand why they did that, because you kind of you've got to prove yourself as well. But at the same time, when he became successful, which he very much is now, he noticed that these people who, what's the word, kind of chucked him to one side or disregarded him is probably a better word to use. He found that those people who disregarded him initially were now messaging him on Instagram and were asking for collaborations, sort of inquiring things, and acting like they were there for him since the start, which they weren't. But he said to me that you have two options in life. You can either return the favor, which is what they deserve, absolutely what they deserve, and they have it coming. Or, and this really moved me, this hit me pretty hard. He said that you could be the change that you want to see in the world. Now, as someone who's Christian, I want to be someone who forgives other people, as Christ forgave me for my sins, and I totally understand that. But I can't forget what people have done. I've had plenty of instances in my life where the relationship has been transactional, where I've helped someone, where I've gone out of my way to give them free physio advice or to give them moments of my time, not just moments of my time, but hours of my time. And then when the favor was required in return, not that you do things, for things in return, but when I needed help, these people disappeared. They were nowhere to be found. They didn't answer their WhatsApp messages, and it just puts a nasty taste in your mouth. And I have forgiven these people already. It just still leaves this bitter taste. And when I think of these people, that's all I associate with them, which is a shame because I'd like to think of other things when I think of these people, but it is at the forefront of my mind, even though I no longer have any animosity. But I think it just shows that these people haven't been raised right, and it's going to happen very soon, one day, as it did for my friend who's now successful, when I am also equally successful. And I'm a top male model in the UK, I'm a content creator, entrepreneur, businessman, and I have all these things going for me because I'm not going to stop until I get there. And when I get there, I'm still going to be humble, I'm still going to be kind to people, I'm going to remember the people who were there for me, and I hopefully will be the same person that I am, especially since I've had to work so hard for everything that I've achieved. And I'm nowhere near where I want to be yet, and I'm still going to get my head down and get there and be humble and work hard. But these people are going to get back in touch, and they're going to pretend that they were there the entire way. They're going to pretend that they were part of my journey. And part of me just wants to be like, no, just like piss off. Or not even say that, they don't even deserve that. I should just ignore them. But then I just keep thinking of what my friend said. Be the change that you want to be in the world. And this is not just in my own life, but this extends throughout my town, my city, the country of the United Kingdom, the entire world. And there's a lot of darkness in the UK right now. There's a lot of darkness in the world. There are a lot of bad people out there. So many, in fact. And one bad apple doesn't ruin the batch, or at least it shouldn't. You can just pick out the bad apple and throw it away, and the rest of the apples are fine. But I just felt so challenged by be the change you want to see in the world. And I'm going to do my best to try and live that out, even though it's going to be one of the hardest things I have to do. But I want to make this video to encourage you guys, if you can open up your heart and be positive, give these people grace, which is giving them what they don't deserve, which is your help, if they need it, if they require it. And actively be kind to them, even though for the love of God, sometimes I'm just like, I just don't want to. And I really don't want anything to do with these people. And they deserve, like, not bad things to happen to them, but they just weren't raised right. And they don't deserve any goodness from me or anyone else because they're just a bad egg. But you still got to help them out. I don't know. I still haven't figured out how I'm going to do this, because my natural reaction is to just ignore people who have wronged me. And I have in the past really struggled with letting things go. And now I'm getting better at forgiving and forgiveness. But I feel like the UK has changed for the worst. So is the world, in fact. And there's a lot of darkness around, and we need more light. We need more people to rise up and be the light, be the change that they want to see in the world, because there's just not enough of it. Sometimes it feels like you're a little torch in a forest full of darkness, and it's pitch black, and you don't feel like your little torch or your little candle is doing anything. If you do something kind for one person who maybe doesn't even deserve it, or who wasn't kind to you before, hopefully their heart has changed and they go and do something nice for something else, and you get this snowball effect of, you know, people being kinder to each other and hopefully restoring this country to maybe what it was years ago. You know, maybe I'm being really hopelessly optimistic and it was never really that good to begin with, but I have to believe that there is still hope. There are still good people out there who can make a small change which will become a big change in the world. And yeah, that's why I wanted to make this video. Catch you guys in the next one.